Hi, my name is Jeff Leiken. Thank you for taking a few minutes to visit my website, and I want to give you a brief introduction to what evolution mentoring is. I've been doing this work for over 20 years, working with teenagers across North America and in Europe. And though a couple things have remained steady and constant through all that time, now in the 21st century there are things that are changing, and changing in ways that none of us could have predicted, even at the millennial less than 10 years ago. Things that have been consistent with teenagers over time is the awkwardness of adolescence, the questions that come into one's mind about who am I and what is my worth to the world, what will I do with my life, why am I so intimidated by certain people, why is it so hard for me to be myself in places that I really should be able to be myself, what is the meaning of all this stuff. These are questions that have been in teenagers' minds forever. But in the new millennium, there's a new phenomenon that's happening. And the new phenomenon is that the world has become very chaotic. The sense of permanence and stability that most of us as adults relied on growing up is no longer there. Today's kids have grown up in the post-9/11 era. They've grown up in a time where there's been nothing but bad news about the economy, wars from invisible enemies, news of pandemic disease, and many kids even sit and talk about things like 2012 being the end of life on Earth. And while my guess is most of them don't really truly believe it'll be the end of life on Earth, many of today's kids are really struggling. And the sad part about this is that the institutions that we need to rely on to help raise our kids are ill prepared for the realities of what it's going to take to thrive in the 21st century. Schools that were built primarily on a model from the 19th century with content that's very much 20th century, designed almost entirely around how to get kids into universities, is not prepared to prepare young people to be able to go out and be creative in the way they're going to need to be in the modern era. It's not preparing them to be able to go out and be leaders and take a stance on issues that really matter to them. And my work is about helping them become prepared to be able to do this, how to have a mindset, an attitude, and approach to life that generates results even when the world around them is so negative, when people around them are so critical, and even when they're surrounded by such cynicism. One of the other phenomena that's begun happening with modern teenagers is the way they relate to each other has changed, where it's left many of them not really feeling trusting of people, not really feeling closely connected. This whole era they have of hooking up, of having sex without intimacy and using each other for thrills and cheap thrills is leaving many of them with a deep sense of emptiness and a yearning for something that they haven't experienced in their life, something that most of us grew up with and now they don't. My work is about teaching these kids how to get beyond the game, how to get into a way of being in the world where they can begin to have the deep, meaningful connections that will lead them to have a fulfilled life and put them on a path where ultimately they wind up finding people to partner with in their life, whether through business, through friendships, or ultimately even through marriage, that makes a life really rich and one really worth living. The world has changed, and it's not going to go back. The way the world is now, you have to be proactive. One of the things about the way I work is this is not psychotherapy. I don't focus on problems. I don't treat people who need psychotherapy. And what I do is I begin from a very simple premise, that everybody has inside them the potential to be extraordinary. And given the right context, given the right nurturance, the right guidance, the right education, that extraordinary potential inside them begins to become realized. And we get very little of it in the outside world, in the world as it is now. My work is about refining the way I deliver this with the people I work with to ensure that they're really getting it. My clients become confident, secure, centered young adults. They become people who know what they want, who take a stance, who know how to work systems to be able to get the results that they want in their life. They know how to command respect from people. And perhaps most importantly, they know how to live a life that for them personally counts. You'll find that as you read through this website and you read the articles, that some of the perspectives that I bring are very alternative. This is not mainstream. This is not an ordinary way that people work, but it's also the reason why I consistently generate such extraordinary results with people. I hope that what you find here on this website is of use to you. And I hope that you decide to sign up for one of my programs, whether it's one of the weekend-long workshops, whether it's one of the programs specifically for teenage boys who are struggling to find a new definition of manhood, whether it's one of the programs for teenage girls, helping them absolutely assassinate the root of insecurity that forces so many of them to become so obsessed with such shallow, superficial things, leading them to become confident, strong women. Whether it's a program to work with families and work with parents, helping them to develop a really rich, happy, healthy home life. Any of these programs are available to the right people. It's an exclusive group who decides to opt in on this kind of program. The kids I work with me because they want to. Initially, their parents may say, hey, I want you to meet this guy, I want you to come to this thing. But if they come back, it's because they choose to. And I'll tell you something, about 98% of them do. I hope that what you find here is useful to you. I hope I've answered some of your questions and at the very least piqued your curiosity. So feel free to browse the website and give me a call, reach out, send an email. Everybody who contacts me will get a free 20-minute consultation. I'll have questions to ask you, I'll answer your questions, and then we can decide together whether or not what I offer is a match for you, for your family, for your teen, to help set them very quickly on a path to thrive in the 21st century, to help your kid grow into somebody who is going to be steps ahead, if not worlds ahead. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking with you.